feature important topics and also focus on nonprofit organizations and the
Okay, the clock has struck 7 o'clock. We'll get things started here tonight. Thanks everyone for coming. We got a full house tonight. You guys probably don't need seats because you're going to present, and then you're probably going to vomit us, right? Okay, so we'll get things started tonight. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Kenton City School District Board of Education. Call to order at 7 o'clock. And let's go ahead and do roll call, please.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Mr. Hensel?
Yes.
Mrs. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is over to your right. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, they waxed the floors, I think.
Okay, item 3, approval and correction of the minutes of the regular board meeting that was held October 17th, 2022. I need a motion to accept, please.
Hensel.
Thank you, Rodney. A second?
Heidinger.
Thanks, Tasha. And any discussion? Any corrections? Anybody notice? We're okay? Okay, let's go ahead and have a vote then, please.
Mr. Hensel?
Yes.
Mrs. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Okay, item 4, faculty report, student showcase. Looks like we've got the Kenton High School FFA with us tonight. And I believe Instructor Julia, are you getting us started? Or, hey, you're more than welcome to use the podium if you would like. You guys can come on up.
Nothing like having a crowd.
I know.
It's like controlled by women. Oh, that way, what is it?
Is it rare?
Okay, so I am Julia Hicks. I am the FFA instructor here at Kenton High School and ag teacher. We are here to just kind of show you a little bit about our chapter and what the FFA does. So if you guys have any questions throughout the entirety of the presentation, feel free to just shout them out. We can make this more of a conversation if you would like. So, but really the kids are going to steal the show today, so they are going to take it away.
Okay, hi, my name is Laura Harder. I am the president of the NOSB FA chapter, alongside with a few of my officers and also a member. By the numbers, nationally we have 85,223 students members, the largest organization in the world, and 300 chapters in the U.S. The state members is 27,703, and locally we have 103 members in the 2023 chapter. The circles of ag education, there's 3 main circles: the classroom instruction, the supervised agriculture experience, and the FA leadership.
So my name is Trevor Robinson, and I'm our vice president of the chapter, and so I'm here to talk about classroom instruction. So as we approach the FFA, we do a lot of hands-on activities, and we use science and theories, and how we use agriculture, and how it's like the largest industry in the nation. So we do a lot of hands-on demonstrations in class. We do strawberry DNA extractions. It's a long, drawn-out process, but it's actually really cool to see at the end. My class did welding last year. I think they offered it as a junior. And these weld things, we do animal dissections. That's actually a cow stomach. Which is actually pretty interesting to see. We do a soil science lab. And then we do public speaking with your classmates.
I'm Kira Red. I'm our chapter's treasurer. One of our circles is supervised agricultural experiences, or we call them SAEs. They're projects that our members will do outside of the classroom, and it will teach them industry skills that may be helpful later on in their careers. One of our big SAEs that's really popular with our numbers is beef production. So all
also say.
We have a lot of members that focus more on the byproducts of animals instead of like just meat or dairy or eggs. So some things are like maybe bread, stuff like that, focusing on different parts of animals and stuff.
My name is Josie Weingartner. I'm our chapter's reporter, and the last circle of the thing is FFA, and this group helps us participate in conferences, conventions, camps, CDEs, and help grow our personal growth and career leadership. This is the FFA official dress. We are all wearing it now. Basically, ladies can both wear either skirts or pants. For example, my black shoes, leggings, my skirt, and then the jacket, button up, white t-shirt, and then scarf. And then pictures up here shows those who got their state career last year. This is Chloe Anderson. She graduated last year. She got #1 state in proficiency. And then these three participated in public speaking last year. And then that was recently a national convention for Lucas Oil State. We participate in all of these CDEs. I know it's a lot, but so far we've done soil, wind, geography, food science, particle. That's all we've done so far. I did well for geography. We had soil, land, and David did really well. Food science did well, and parliamentary procedure got close.
As a chapter, I'm Lauren Woltz. I'm the Sentinel this year. So as a chapter, we try to get
Involved with as much community service as we possibly can. It's really beneficial to students not only trying to get their degrees, but also just helping the community is really what they can do. Some of the things that we like to do, we help set up liquid lights. We did Feed Our Farmers, which is basically where we package lunches and then take them to the farmers working in fields at Heritage Co-op. We did Veterans Day breakfast, which is where we partnered with the JRTC and we cook breakfast for the veterans and set up tables, and we help serve them food, and we put up a slideshow saying some of the information about them. We do things at nursing homes where we decorate pumpkins, create Christmas cards, and just try to spread some cheer. And we do Adopt a Highway, partnering with ODOT. So we're doing it just outside of town on 53, and everybody who is getting involved has to take a course, a safety course, to make sure that everyone's prepared for the movement. So this year, some of the things we did, the top picture in the main arena at the fair, that was Ag Day. So we set up different stations at the fairgrounds, and then the third graders come in and they totally fill all the stations, and it's just a real fun thing to do. The picture at the top, that was State Fair. People went and helped out serve food. That was FFA camp in the bottom right corner. A lot of people really enjoy FFA camp. It's a really great experience to meet new people. And right there with the kayaks, that was officer retreat. It was really fun. We went kayaking. We did a lot of leadership building, getting to know each other, so that was real stronger. We also, this is at the Hardin County Fair, everything we got involved in. So these four pictures on the left side, they were all people getting community service activities, serving at the beef tent, pork tent, ice cream, and and we recycled. And then the top corner on the right, that was the officer team. All of us except for one served on junior fair board. And down in the corner was helping pass out shirts for the members of 4-H. We went to farm science review. We sold mums. We did soil vegging, and we had people come in and teach us a little bit about wood. Most of these pictures are from National Convention in October. This was the main arena, Lucas Oil Stadium, where we had our sessions. That was at Weber Grill Restaurant, where we were given food, and then that was at that time we were doing the tour. And then this was just recently. This is our president and vice president of leadership right now.
Hi, I'm Ido Schmelzer. I am just a member, and I am taking Bethany Cameron's spot. She's our secretary. In the far left corner, that was our Veterans Day breakfast. So the
if you guys have any questions whatsoever, we're more than happy to answer your questions.
I just have a comment. I think this is another one of those great things for our kids. I took agriculture when I was in high school a long time ago. And I've said several times that I used more that I learned in that classes than anything else I learned in high school. And on a side note, I think when I was in high school, my sophomore year was the first year we had girls in FFA. And it's so good to see that we have this many young women to participate in this. So, good job.
Well, before you guys take off, I want to get a quick picture. Board members, if you don't mind, slide over here. And no, that's okay. It's easier with all
Thank you guys. Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
You guys are free to go if you want, especially since you don't have seats. And thank you for coming on a day that you didn't even have to come to school, so you had to get up and still do your hair. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5. This is our public participation section. We do have 3 people signed up tonight to speak. And the first one on the list is Sandy Steiner. And just wanted to remind you, Sandy, and actually all the speakers tonight, we do limit you to 3 minutes. And, you know, if we've got additional questions, we will definitely ask that. We appreciate it.
Academy specifically is a Bible-based release time for the public school system with an emphasis on character development. And students are learning a biblical history and the life of Jesus. They're also learning the much-needed character quality like honesty, respect, trustworthiness, just to name a few. We have many more that we incorporate in our curriculum. And as educators, you guys certainly understand the value and the importance of character development, and it's linked to improved mental health, improved relationships, and academic performance. We have seen firsthand, just with the implementations of a release time like LifeWise, that students exhibit much improved behaviors and just overall stability. I'm here, like a couple other people that are going to speak as well, to ask the board to adopt an RTRI, release time religious instruction policy. I did pass along a folder for all of you guys to review. It includes things like the state policy and how the law reads, but there's also sample schedules and just some other things in that packet for you guys to look through that might be helpful. As someone that works with several communities across Ohio, as a matter of fact, we have more than 100 schools in 4 different states that are utilizing a LifeWise program right now, and an average participation rate of about 65% of the student body that is eligible. And I did want to clarify a few details because this is often where there is sometimes some confusion. But release time, in order for it to be legal, it has to follow 3 criteria. One, release time has to be off school property. So in other words, classes are not taking place in any common areas in the school or classrooms or on the property. It has to be completely off school property. It also has to be privately funded. So It doesn't cost the school anything. There are no tax dollars that are used to fund the program in any way, shape, or form. And it's free for students to participate. And lastly, students must have parental permission. So parents or guardians are signing a permission slip that gives the students the ability to participate, and parents certainly have the choice and the option as to whether or not their kids participate. At PG specifically, we started in 2020 offering classes for kindergarten through 4th grade. Last year we expanded into 8th grade, and then this year we're actually offering likewise for our kindergarten through 12th grade students. And our high school students are receiving a high school credit to take our biblical history class. It's really awesome. I can speak on behalf of our administration. We have a great working relationship with them, and they're super excited to offer this opportunity for all of our students. And just like your community is here to support, they would love to see the option of a likewise academy here at Kenton as well. So I think that's all that I have. I tried to talk really fast, so if anybody has questions, I don't know if I can open it for questions right now or at the end, or however you
Can probably
would like
do,
to.
you want to do the questions at the end, maybe?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do questions at the end if you don't mind.
Okay. No,
But you were
that's
right
great.
on 3 minutes, so
All
nice
right.
job.
Wow, I sped it up, so sorry about
Our next speaker, Mark Watkins. I think we know, most of us know him.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Mark Watkins, and wasn't long ago, as most of you probably know, I was on the other side of this table, and so it's kind of nice to be back and see everybody. I do appreciate all the board members and administration too. Having had that experience, I appreciate the work you do, the responsibility you take for the community on behalf of the school system, and so it's good to be here to talk with you and share with you. 3 minutes, I don't know. I see your agenda. You got plenty of time.
No. 3 minutes, Mark. 3 minutes, buddy.
Give the 3 minutes a
No
rest
special
here,
treatment, okay?
Just wasted 20 seconds.
Yeah. So, why biblical studies, or why have this program? Obviously, the Christian community is represented here tonight, and the Bible is very important to the believing Christian. It's kind of the bedrock foundational text that we use to learn more about who God is, and it's His revelation to us. That's how we look at it. But even from an educational standpoint, I think studying the Bible is very important. It's such a foundational document to Western culture and Western civilization. It really is the foundational document for our civilization. Now, that grew out of from the European and then spread to the Western world. But if you look at things like government, the laws that we live under, our legal system, how it works, it's very based in a scriptural foundation. If you look at literature, for a long time, the Bible was really the only book there was, and so all as technology has changed and we have all this flood of literature out there that's available, if you go back centuries, the foundation of that was the Bible, and so the things we have to read and to study, and especially the important documents of our culture, foundationally come from the Scripture. Even science, the scientific theory, the idea that the world is something that can be studied. It's not just random, but that scientific theory can build on knowledge that's accumulated over time, and that things just don't randomly change, is based in a scriptural understanding of the world, and that God is permanent, and He is very logical, and that He set up our creation in a way that is very consistent and very repeatable. And so even our scientific foundations come from a scriptural understanding. So I think I remember we talked a lot about, especially like mathematics, when students struggled with mathematics, a lot of times it was because they missed a step. They missed a key building block in understanding math as they went through the different age levels and learning levels, and that then put them in a difficult position to understand mathematics as it got more complicated. I think that's kind of the same thing here, is that if students have this basic understanding, this foundational understanding that's so important to our culture, it helps them to understand why we do a lot of the things we do, and how our country works, and how our civilization works, how our culture works. My daughter lives overseas. She lives in Nepal, which is a Hindu country, and she says you don't realize how important that Christian influence is in all the aspects of how our country works until you're in a country that doesn't have that kind of foundation. And we don't really realize it because we're just so used to it. But she says it's really remarkable, the difference of just in civic life and the laws and the function of government and the function of community organization. All those kind of things are affected by that foundation, the Christian foundation that our country has. The other thing I'll say, and I'm probably way out of time already.
You're almost done. You got 30 seconds, man. I'm going to buzz you.
All right, to wrap it up. I see on your agenda you have a list of volunteers you're going to approve. And Tom Brim was the one who emphasized to me, and I learned a lot from Tom on the school board, how important the volunteers were, how much we appreciated volunteers and their contribution to the education of the students, to the way the school works, from extracurriculars to people that come in and help in the classroom, to helping in the hallways, to all that stuff. What a benefit that is to the education of the students and the function of the school. And certainly you got all these people here, and usually you have a big crowd at school board meeting there because they got pitchforks and they're ready to string somebody up, right? It's because of something negative happening. What you have here tonight is a lot of people supporting something very positive, and I think this is an effort from the community to offer an additional opportunity to the students of our district. It's a volunteer effort from the school's perspective. It's no expense to the school. We're not asking you to do something. We're offering you an opportunity to allow our students to broaden their education, to build a fundamental understanding of our civilization, and to build their character through that process in a positive way. So I appreciate the chance to share it with you, and I know as you guys look at it and see how it can function in the district, I appreciate you looking at it from that perspective as well. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark. Our next speaker is Dave Dooley. Pastor Dooley, you're up. Dave, just a reminder, 3 minutes, buddy.
If I could limit my preaching to 3 minutes, I'd have more people.
Yeah, I know.
Shoot. It really is a privilege. This is the first time. I don't get super nervous anymore in public speaking, but I was pretty nervous about tonight. Y'all are just different than what I'm used to speaking to, but I appreciate you all, and I'm so thankful to serve alongside you. My name's Dave. I pastor at the Church of the Nazarene. I've been there for 15 years now here in Kenton, and I'm a member of the LifeWise Steering Committee. I just want to say to you again, to the school board, thank you for allowing me a moment just to speak regarding the possibility of having a LifeWise program here in Kenton City school systems. We've been talking about kindergarten through 3rd grade. And I'm really excited for the possibility of working together for what I believe to be for the good of our students, for our teachers, as well as for our administrators. I want to emphasize it's our hope not to add a burden to what I can already imagine is crazy, especially to our principals and those that have to deal with that yearly. Personally, I tend to have a hard time doing that with just a family of 3. I can't imagine how all of our building administrators do that, thinking of so many children. But I do believe we don't want this to be a burden, but rather a working together through some of those challenges that will give us an opportunity to see our students excel in the classroom, as well as hopefully in life. I've heard that many schools with LifeWise programs have seen improvement, especially in the areas of character development. And I believe that will pair well with the already existing emphasis that I have seen in all of our buildings that seek to inspire character development within our students. And I'm so thankful for that. But there, I'm also aware of 5 other schools right now, I think, in the WBL that are offering LifeWise programs. There could be more, but I know Salina is, Defiance is, Elida, Shawnee, and Van Wert probably, I think it's one of the hosts, has the most happening. I think it's 95% student participation, if I'm not mistaken, at Van Wert offering a LifeWise program. I know there's questions. I know there could be potential problems, and we may not have all those answers that we can solidify tonight. But I do hope that you'll hear us say again, we are for our public school systems, not against our school systems. And it would be our joy to work through a release arrangement of some kind so that LifeWise could come to our community. And I'm confident that together with you all and with those in this community, that we can work together for solving those issues, such as transportation or the possibility of disruptions to the schedule, and any other potential issues that we might encounter as we do this. And we'll do everything that we can, I believe, as a committee and a board, to not add more to an already big plate for so many of you. Lastly, if I could speak as a parent, I have a 4-year-old little girl. Her name is Nora. She's remarkable. And I get to see Miss Lisa, who I just saw earlier today for my very first parent-teacher conference at First United Methodist Church. They haven't kicked Nora out yet. I'm grateful that my daughter has an opportunity, and we can send her as parents to a place where she can grow intellectually, relationally, and with a Christ-centered foundation. And we would love for this kind of holistic approach for my family to possibly be something that she could continue in the public school system. I understand this program may not be for everyone, but I also believe it allows parents, such as myself, to make the best choice for their child. We are for the public school system, and we do value what you bring to our community, and we hope as the spiritual community to aid in that and to be there for you as well. My wife Brittany substitute taught in the Kenton district for many years. And again, I would personally love to give my daughter Nora and many others the opportunity to grow as Jesus did in Scripture, in wisdom, in stature, or we might say value, and in favor with both God and man. Thank you guys so much for your time and for your considerations.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, I guess any questions that we have for any of the 3 speakers, guys? Sandy, Mark, or Dave, any questions? Or
Where was this started at? Anybody know? Is it all right if I ask a question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Am I limited to 3 minutes?
Your question is limited to 3 minutes, yes.
Well, so release time itself was upheld by the Supreme Court in 1952. So release time has been around for a really, really long time. We have several schools in our areas that have had a release time for hundreds of years. LifeWise specifically began over in Van Wert back in 2018. So it's fairly new. It started as Cross Over the Hill, just an independent release time when a group of people over in Van Wert learned about the law. They just created, like, let's do this release time thing. And then through that, they incorporated Joel Penton, who has Stand for Truth Ministries, and then he's kind of ran with it from there to create a plug-and-play system that any school, any community can adopt a LifeWise. But we should be in about 125 schools in 5 different states by the end of next year.
I got one more question. So with our faculty, staff, volunteers, they all have to pass background checks.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys do that also?
Absolutely, yes. Everybody is background checked, teachers, volunteers. Another question, I'm trying to think of pertinent questions that oftentimes people think of. One is definitely liability. A lot of times the school asks, what's the liability look like? And the second the students step off of school property, they fall under the blanket liability of LifeWise. Wherever they might end up, sometimes it's a church, sometimes it's a community center, sometimes it's a YMCA. Until they come back to school property, then they are back, covered under the school. but that's usually a big one that people ask too, from your standpoint.
So, I'm the big safety guy, and they all can attest to this. What are the safety protocols and standards and operation and EOP plans and things like that? And I'm sure you probably can't answer that tonight because that's a lot of things in that, but like for your buildings and such, like, I'm just not gonna, like, me personally, I'm a Christian-based person, but I also have been in law enforcement 10 years, and I know that evil's out there every day.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm just not gonna send my kid into a tin building.
Yes. We follow all of the policies that the school follows when it comes to any kind of safety type situation. I can't speak for Pandora specifically. We actually transport our kids. We have a shuttle bus, so we pull right up to the sidewalk of the front door. We meet our students at the door. We walk them to the bus. They hop on. We drive them, and they pull right up to the door of the church where they enter the church building. So there's always one or two volunteers and a teacher at all times. And of course, we want to make sure that all of the safety scenarios, I mean, we're in our church, but we make sure that the fire alarms are checked. We make sure all of those types of things, that the doors are locked at all times when the students are in the building. So absolutely, we care about that as much as you do, for sure.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Do we want to give an opportunity for people to leave? Probably. Anybody, show of hands, who wants to stay for the rest of the meeting? That's what I thought. John is back there. He'll stay. He's got to do the video recording. Anybody that would like to leave, you're more than welcome to leave before we proceed on.
Thank you for
And
coming.
thank you so much for coming. We'll give that a minute to clear out.
Way to clear a room, Doug.
I cleared them just fine, didn't I? Later. I got it, Ryan. I'm leading this meeting, dude. I got
Stop
it.
butting in, Ryan.
I appreciate it.
He's on break right now. He's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, Jill, you're pretty much the next item 6,
Yep.
right? Report to the
That's
treasurer.
correct.
The floor is yours.
Okay. Let's see here. All right.
I'll wait till they leave. I think what I'll do is I'll go through the numbers first, and then maybe go through a little bit of the screen, and we can go from there. So everybody's got the 5-year, the actual numbers, and then I put the highlights right behind it. So if you want to kind of follow along. Just basically going down, if you look at the fiscal year 2023, which is the current year that we're in, you've got the history for the last 3 years to the left, and then forecasted to the right of 2023. So focus on the column of 2023. Basically, we'll just kind of go down the line. You've got your real estate tax. In calendar 2023, we are going to go through a reappraisal in Hardin County and in Wyandotte. We have just a little bit in Wyandotte, so basically our impact's going to be from Hardin. You've got your PUP tax, your public utility personal property tax. Then you've got income tax. We are estimating to go up about 13 to 14% from the last previous year. And, you know, if you're wondering how we come to that assumption, it's just
basically looking at estimates and history. There's really no big science to it. It's just where we feel, looking at everything, where we're going to end up. Then you've got your foundation money, which we get from our state, $11.1 million, and that we are going to keep static for the next 4 years afterwards. And the reason why is because we are in the second year of our biennium from the state, which means the state will look at doing this again for fiscal year 24 and 25. So come this winter and spring, they're going to debate on how they're going to fund schools again, whether they're going to continue on with what they've said they're going to do, or if they're going to toss that out and redo. Don't know. So that's why we've cut that static. You've got your restricted state funds in line 1.04, and that's $963,000, about the same as it was last year. And that is a combination of your DPIA, your student wellness, gifted, career tech, and ELL. Each one of those categories has different dollar amounts that we're supposed to devote to within the school district here. They do ask how we spend it at the end of the year, so it's very elaborate. Jody Needles and I always get together and do all the categories of how we spent that money, because they do have us account for that. The property tax in 1.05, that is your rollback and homestead. And then in your 1.06, your all other revenues. That's a hodgepodge of a lot of different things that come into this category. Part of that is Medicaid reimbursement, JROTC reimbursement from the Fed. We have our MRESC teacher salary. We've got one teacher that's on a 2-year grant. It's for math, isn't it? For math this year, yeah. We've got money coming in from that to be reimbursed from the ESC. You've got your regular and special ed tuition kids that come into this. And you've also got an employee from Ohio High Point that we receive reimbursement. So anytime I put a receipt in, it funnels into that line item. And the reason why in fiscal year 21 it was a lot higher, and that's because the way the funding is done. We used to have open enrollment kids in a different category when you receipted that in. Now it's all funneled in as just normal foundation kids. So in line 1.035, the unrestricted revenue, they're all up in there. We're no longer having to track them separately. You go down to the salaries then. We are in our second year of our negotiated agreement. We are up this year for both classified and certified, so we'll be negotiating this spring, and they ended at a 2.5% for this fiscal year. And the rest of the fiscal years out, there is 0% on the base. So there's nothing in there except the step. And if you're wondering how much a step costs us, just for teachers only, it's about $174,000, just for teachers. So if they get nothing else, it's going to increase by at least $174,000, based on the teacher base that we have now. Then you've got your second line, 3.02, that's your fringe benefit line. Our insurance went up by 11.3%, and that is only because we waited a year and a half to see, as a new consortium, when we joined with them, we wanted to see where our claims were going to be, how well we were being funded. So basically, if you split that in two, it's really a 6% increase per year. We just took it all in one lump sum, which, if it was 6% a year, it really was below the norm. The norm has been 7%, 8%. So we went below that norm, again, because we're self-funded. Claims mean everything. We can have good years, bad years, and that's really what drives that percentage for us. Then you've got purchase services. Purchase services pretty much has been a stagnant point. It's anything with electricity, utilities, water, sewer, gas, anything like that. That goes all into their meetings. Just anything that's a purchase service for the district, that is that line item. Also, too, I wanted to mention on the insurance, going back up to that $5.9 million, we do have 190, out of 253 employees, we have 190 employees that take insurance. 110 of those are family, 80 of that's single, and we do have 21 employees that don't take any insurance at all, so we'll pay them in lieu, And that runs us about $18,000 a year. Just to kind of put that in perspective.
Per employee.
Yeah, well, no, total for all, total. Yep. So it's a very nominal fee. It's like $900 a year.
I was gonna say less
basically.
than $1,000
Yeah.
per person.
For them not to take our insurance.
You just reimburse that on their check?
Yes. They get every 24 pays, they get a payment for that.
Gotcha.
Yep. Also in the salaries too, I also want to make a mention of that. We do offset our salaries every year on an average of $1.1 million because of grants. So if we didn't have that, you'd be looking at $1.1 million each year. So that's a huge offset between salaries and benefits, which is really a nice thing for us. When we got the ESSER funds, that increased by about $1.3 million in 2 years. So we had an additional $1.3 million that we offset salaries and benefits last year and this year because of ESSER funds, because basically of COVID. So that's going away. But on an average, those were the anomaly years. It's $1.1 million stagnant for the other grants that we did receive. So that just, again, puts some things in perspective, that it takes a load off of our general fund, which is really nice. Okay, again, the 6.01 line, which is the line I always say, hey, focus on right there, that shows if we've got more revenue coming in than expenses or more expenses than we have revenue. So if you look at that line, we are not deficit spending at this point. And again, I think I've made this mention before, we've had that additional grant money that really helped us out with those salaries and benefits. So that put a longer, you're looking at 2025 potentially maybe being deficit spending. But that was because we did have that 1.3 million that offset in those ESSER funds.
Where'd that grant come from?
The COVID money. Yeah.
So it's over.
For the most part. I mean, we still got some that's helping renovate our Building A. But for the most part, anything that we could defer back to salaries and benefits, that part of it's gone. Yeah. Our tax collection rate is 94%, which again will be made whole because of law. You have to be made whole. We will get all of our money. Our income tax levy is a traditional continuous levy, and it has been in effect since 1995. I think you all know that. And then I'm going to go up to here. Kind of talk about the income tax, the triennial updates coming up, the biennium, we don't know where that's going to be. Talk about the deficit spending. Again, like I said, we're not really going to deficit spend maybe in fiscal year 25. Again, biennium is going to really tell us a big story of how we're going to get funded the next 2 years. The cash balances, I didn't really say what our cash balance is, but the end of this year, we're looking at a $9.8 million carryover. Last year was a 9.3. You're going to see $10 million carryover in the next couple years, but again, I did not put anything in that base for salaries. So knowing that we're going to have something, that's going to be less than probably what I'm projecting. I just don't have that built in yet. This shows where our revenue, where the majority of our revenues come from. We're heavily reliant on state funding, about 60%. Anything else is local share. Our expenses, our wage and benefits are 87%. It used to be 81%, but again, because the biennium changed how we recognize open enrollment kids, instead of expensing out our open enrollment kids going out, it now is funneled up into revenue. So that kind of, that purchase service line where I said it was like $3-something million, and now it's 1.8, that's where you're getting less expenses, so that number inflated itself just a little bit. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, it's the shift of how we've had to account for expenses in our open enrollment kids. So it does kind of skew the number a little bit, I think. But that's where the big factor, the big impact is salaries and benefits. I mean, that's the biggest part of our expenses. unless you guys have questions, that's pretty much it. I mean, we're sitting nice. I can't say that we're not, but again, we've had that ESSER help too, so that's been a benefit to us. Also, interest on our LFIs for our building project money. So right now, we've earned up through October a little over $57,500 in that. And our local share, the $15.9 million that we asked from the taxpayers, we've earned about $58,000. We kind of had a discussion in our finance committee, what could that look like in the next 8 months? Probably at least double that for each. So, you're looking $200,000 to $300,000 because we're not going to have a lot of expenses going out in the next 8 months. Not until we break ground and everything gets rolling. And breaking ground, I believe, is mid-June next year. And even at that, it's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to be able to have a lot of that cash sitting here and earning some of that interest. We did have a little bit of state money coming in, and at the end of October, it was $7,600 that we're earning on that too. And I invest that through Liberty. So Liberty gets our state money, and then Red Tree is investing in other various places for us, earning that good interest. That right now, I think Star is 3.5%, something like that. And that's it. Unless you guys have any questions.
I do have one question, though. I don't know, I know the consortium, when we joined that, I know that helped us a great deal. But the health insurance, do they offer districts, or is there discounts for maybe having health, assessments for employees? I know with my work, if we do like a biometric screening and we sign up to a number of steps per year, you get discounts for those?
Yeah.
Do they do those kind of things?
Well, before we joined the consortium, I know MedMutual had this pot of money, and that was going away. I don't know why. I caught the tail end of that. They did have a pot of money, and that's where they came into the schools, and they did challenges and things like that. So they did do stuff like that. If we did that, it cost the consortium the money.
Okay.
So it's not just, hey, let's do this, because it'll impact our bottom line because we are self-insured.
Okay. That was why I asked the
Yeah, and
question,
right
because
now,
it's self-insured.
Our health insurance is, in a whole, and we've got 7 districts in there, is a little over $3 million in the balance. And they show us a report every month, shows our revenues coming in, our expenses going out, and that's claims, that's reimbursements on stop loss. And our stop loss, I believe, is $125,000. So if there's a claim over $125,000, that's when our stop loss insurance kicks in. And then we as the consortium don't have to pay anything. That's where our insurance picks it up and reimburses us the difference, basically.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yep.
So, what's the deductible on the health insurance?
What's the deductible?
Just went up.
$33.50 and $78.50.
What comes out of the teacher's paycheck bi-weekly? Like how much?
Okay, I gotta think. I've got this right here. Hold on. So I don't have to think too hard. So single for an employee is $220 a month. And, I'm sorry, family, $220 a month. And then single for employee is $92 a month. That's just medical. So it's a 90-10 split. That's what we have. So if it's $2,200 for a family plan, that's split 90-10. So that's where you get the $220 for the employee. And then the total premium for single is $917. So we split that 90-10.
So the consortium self-insured up to the stop loss? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
for claims.
Right.
For claims, yeah. And we're running about $3.1 million right now. That's our running balance at this point.
So is that 11% you were saying, like 11.3 or whatever, is that going to be like, that's how much their portion's going to go up, 11%?
11% on the total premium.
Okay.
That's how that was, yeah. And then once we get that total premium, that's when we do the 90-10 split. Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
That was it for me. Anybody
I'm
else?
sure there's other things, but we can't think of them.
And I got plenty more to say, but it's overwhelming, so I'll stop there.
Well, the first thing that I'll say, Jill, is you did a nice job with this presentation, and I love
Thank you.
the information you're giving us.
Thanks.
It's great. Okay. With that, I guess we need a motion to accept.
Hansel.
Thanks, Rodney. A second?
Dick.
Thanks, Justin. Any other questions for Jill? I know we already gave her that opportunity, but, okay, let's go ahead and have a vote, please.
Mrs. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Ludley?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Mr. Hensel?
Yes.
Okay, item 7. We'll move on to item 7, Superintendent's Report and Communications.
Just wanted to mention a couple of things, mainly so that Tim will put it in the paper.
For you, Tim.
Because you guys all got the email that I sent out to the whole staff, all of our staff, just talking about the need for substitute teachers. This was about the time last year that I had kind of mentioned that we needed some, and people responded. We had, gosh, I think 5 new folks. So just in the last week, we've gotten an additional at least 4 or 5 more, which is great. So the more we can push that out there, but just reminding folks that as long as you're 20 years old and can pass a background check, we'd like to talk to you about potentially helping serve our kids in the capacity of substitute teachers. So just to put that out there and to explain the need too, on Friday, just as an example, we had 10 openings that never got filled. So, obviously when that happens, we're using everybody, principals, aides, whomever, to help us fill those holes. So we definitely could use more substitute teachers if people are interested and willing. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention, just as later on in here, you're going to see some ESC contracts, the MRESC for educational aides. Those folks have been with us since the beginning. It's just that the ESC, for whatever reason, was kind of late in getting them approved on their end, and we couldn't get them approved on ours until. So these aren't new positions. These are people that have started with us from the school year. And just, and I mentioned this before, but I'll just say it again. A lot of times when we hire educational aides through the ESC, it's because we're not 100% sure that the student that they will be serving may be with us for the long term, and we don't want to hire somebody into KCS and then turn around the next year and say, I'm sorry, that student's no longer here, we don't have a job for you, where the ESC at least serves a lot of different districts and can offer them other positions if that were to happen. So just to make sure folks understand, if we are hiring an aide through the ESC, it's because we want to make sure that that is going to be a stable position. Once we know it is, then we'll hire them through Kenton City Schools. So just wanted to explain that. Thank you.
And then you're going to...
Justin.
Justin will
From
present.
Dominion.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Dominion Energy.
Yep. Dominion Energy would like to present to us tonight.
No, not you. Now, this is regarding the email I had sent about the easement.
Justin Ove.
And I have overview maps if anyone needs one or wants one to look at.
I've got a couple.
They were in the
too.
email.
Yeah, we got them in the email, I think.
If you want, you can. Sure, yeah.
No, good. Okay, my name's Justin Ovey, and I'm a land agent with Dominion Energy, Ohio. And I am here to discuss with you an easement on the south side of Summit Street, which would be north of the middle school and football field. There is currently a 2-inch main line on the school's property on the south side of Summit Street. And the road right-of-way is a 40-foot road right-of-way. Typically what occurs is that there would be 20 feet on either side of the center line. In this situation, there is only 15 feet on the south side of the center line of Summit Street, which only covers the actual pavement of the road. And typically, you would have the road right-of-way go to the sidewalk, which would cover that grass area where the 2-inch main line is currently located. This year, Dominion was doing a project north of that area, replacing pipelines from 1954, which are low-pressure pipelines, and replacing those with medium-pressure pipelines, and they were tying into the 2-inch main line that's currently on the school's properties to also loop the system around. So if
the question is, why did it take so long for them to figure out they didn't have any more easement than that?
This year,
I mean, it's,
well, in the past, the project in 2003 was not surveyed. It was only based off of the county GIS and the county's plans, which you'll see on the overview maps. They show the property lines quite a bit lower than what they actually are. And this year, when the project was moving forward, the technician had a surveyor come out and actually survey all the pipelines that would be replaced or connected to. And that is when the surveyor said the road right-of-way only goes to the edge of the pavement.
so they thought all along that it went out farther than what it really
That
did.
it was within road right-of-way,
Right.
since it was between the sidewalk and the pavement. And Dominion does have a pipeline running along the east side of the football field, which we do have an easement for.
What's the project timeline as far as being able to get all the language worked out and everything on this?
The pipelines north of Summit Street are already, they're being constructed and they're going into construction depending on when when the construction crew can move forward. But as far as the easement language, we can have that all prepared by the next school board meeting so that it can be voted on.
Okay.
Or if you would prefer to have that quicker, we can do that also. If you can vote on this outside of normal board meeting times.
Yeah, I don't think we'll probably have a special board meeting. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that needed done before the next regularly scheduled meeting.
This easement would basically be to allow Dominion to keep operating that existing 2-inch medium pressure pipeline.
So you're not anticipating new construction on that line in that easement then right now?
No, there was a medium pressure line that ran north along, I forget which street it is now, but it ran from where that 2-inch main line is on the south side of Summit Street north. And so when they were replacing the low pressure pipelines, they were able to tie into that section. So there's no new construction anticipated for that area south of Summit Street.
I guess the reason why I asked is you're not gonna be out there digging around on that side of the road right away, or you're not anticipating doing that right now then?
It's not anticipated right now,
Okay.
since they were able to connect to that line north of.
So I guess my only concern with the easement that's pictured is, it looks like it encompasses our whole fence and the two pillars of the entrance of the football field, I guess. Is that something that we need to be concerned if you rip it up, you're gonna rip those up, and what happens with that, I guess?
Anything like that would have to be replaced in kind, especially since it's existing. And,
I mean, according to the drawing, I don't know for sure, but that's what it kind of looks like to me.
right, that's, the red line on the overview map is approximately where 20 feet would be.
Right.
As far as getting it surveyed, that can also be done to have the surveyor come out. Actually, they've already got all the things they need to be able to create it
Okay.
for an exhibit that would be attached to the easement, so that it's more specific than what's shown right now.
Okay.
But anything that would be, if there was construction in the future, anything that would be damaged would have to be replaced in kind.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Justin? Thank you.
Okay. thank you
Appreciate
for
it very
having me.
much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Justin.
What's that? You can leave too, Justin, if you'd like to, buddy. If you don't
You
want to
can
stay
leave
for the
too.
rest, you're more than welcome. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, board committee reports. The two we have listed as extracurricular committee.
Yeah, we met Thursday. Band and choir update. Kenton High School band acquired a new popcorn machine for the basketball concession stand. This was purchased with funds that were donated by Hardin County Community Foundation. We'd like to thank them for their donation. Update on band and choir Florida trip. There are 150 students and adults that will be attending the trip. The band will be performing at Disney Springs, and then the choir will be performing at Magic Kingdom. The marching band will be marching in the downtown Christmas parade tomorrow night. This parade will start at 6:30. We encourage all to attend, as it was named Ohio's biggest small-town Christmas parade. There are 57 fifth graders that signed up for the band this year. A few dates to remember: December 6th at 6 o'clock will be the KES and KMS choir concert. December 12th at 7 will be the KHS band and choir concert. And December 15th at 6 o'clock will be the KES and KMS band concert. And then Kenton Athletics update: 197 kids participated in Kenton High School fall sports. 97 kids participated in the Kenton Middle School fall sports. The Kenton soccer team boys ended their season with a sectional title. Girls cross country finished 4th in the league and 3rd in the district. The weight room in the athletic building wall has been knocked out. There's just some flooring and some racks that need to be replaced. The new baseball dugouts are also completed, and then they installed new benches in the baseball and softball dugouts. So I think did I get everything? Good? Good. All right.
Okay, great. The second one's Career Center. That's me. The biggest update that we've got there is, I think I mentioned last month's board meeting, that all the renovations and the add-ons were completed down at Ohio High Point. They are actually going to be having the ribbon cutting ceremony. Everyone invited to that on December 1st at 4 p.m. And that is actually celebrating the new construction down there. Also, this past Thursday, all the sophomores went down, had their tour, I guess, of Ohio High Point. So they had a lot of kids walking through, asking a bunch of questions. I guess it went really well. The bus driver, look at that. 10D, volunteers. Thanks again for volunteering. We really appreciate that. I think we've said that a couple times tonight.
10J is a good one to highlight.
10J. Yep. Supplemental contracts. Yep, actually, I put a star by that. Item 10J, we are accepting the resignation of Amy Long. She has put in 39 years with us. We definitely appreciate her commitment to Kenton City Schools. That's amazing. Cafeteria, a couple maternity leave, paternity leave on item 10. Could I have a motion to accept item 10, please?
Ledley.
Thank you, Brandon. Second?
Heidinger.
Thanks, Tasha. Appreciate it. Any discussion? Okay, if not, we'll move for a vote.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Mr. Hensel?
Yes.
Mrs. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Okay, item 11, authorization and resolutions. 11A, service contract agreement, 3-year starting term with the E-rate funding. 11B, man, we can't thank the individuals and businesses as they donate to the music and other aspects of Kansas City Schools. We really appreciate those donations. And then I think 11C and D are actually, and E it looks like, are what Chad mentioned earlier, with finally getting the Midwest Regional ESC. They approved one on their side, so we're allowed to approve that now on our side. Some more ESC stuff. 11J, the 5-year forecast that Jill presented to us today is on there. Also 11K, recommendation of Deb Purcell to represent the Ohio High Point representative for a 3-year term. Transportation. 11N, 8th grade Washington DC trip. Quiz bowl. A little fun transfer, it looks like, Jill, from general to the quiz bowl.
That's just to help them get started with some of their fees.
Quiz bowl stuff?
Yep.
Okay. And then 10Q and 10R are actually the, moving forward with the approval and authorization with Peterson Construction on 11Q for the Building A project, is that right?
Yes.
Some renovation? Yep, in addition to that, and then R is for the Garmin Miller and Associates for the architecture and authorized agreement for the design professional service for the LFI project that we've got going on. And there's a lot on 11 in there. 11S, resolution for Peterson Construction as well, for the best value construction manager at risk, approving that agreement for the pre-construction services. And 11T. I thought I read this, but I don't remember. What is, okay, what is it?
Commissioning agent.
The commissioning
for the
agent.
OFCC.
They're used for our project?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, commissioning services there, I see. Okay, could I have a motion to accept item 11?
Hensel.
Thanks, Rodney. Second?
Dick.
Thanks, Justin. Any discussion?
I just want to point out that the reason why there was 2 Peterson, one is for the renovation of the high school, which is separate from the OFCC project, and the second one was for the new high school. And these people have been working without a contract this whole time.
Yes, without a contract,
OFCC finally
told us to get it done.
figured out that they need to get it done so these people get paid. So.
Okay, great. Thanks for the clarity on that. Anything else?
Yeah, 11F, to approve the apprenticeship program. I might be the only person who caught that, but what is that looking like, Chad?
It's fantastic is what that is. This is something that's been in the works for, gosh.
A while.
Yeah, a year and a half
Yeah.
or so, and it's been very difficult, but it allows our kids to have an opportunity to graduate if they're not able to pass some of those standardized tests. They can go ahead and follow this pre-apprenticeship program and earn a diploma. And there aren't very many schools in the state that have
Like
that
8,
opportunity.
right?
So
Like
it's
8,
I don't know
that's
what
what
the
I heard.
number is, but it's low.
Yeah, it's real low.
Very few. So we're very excited about that.
Man, I can't believe I missed that.
Have we started reaching out to like local businesses or county, like anything like that?
Fortunately, we can link it to our approved apprenticeship.
Okay.
Because it's the only one in the county.
Yep.
So having that within our own school system is unique. It might be the only one in the state that is doing that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And then the other question I had was with the Kenton City Schools with the Hardin County Agriculture Society. What is that?
That's the fairgrounds, and basically it's an understanding or agreement for the use of the fairgrounds in an emergency situation for reunification.
That's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure.
Thanks for calling us out, Justin. There was so much on 11 there, I missed it.
Well, the apprenticeship one, I know has been a big one that we've been struggling with, trying to power through with the state and then having to redo everything. So I think it's going to be great for our students and our community.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else? We'll go ahead and have a vote, please.
Mr. Dick?
Yes.
Mr. Hensel?
Yes.
Mrs. Heidinger?
Yes.
Mr. Ledley?
Yes.
Mr. Carmine?
Yes. Item 12, adjournment at 8:12. The next regular scheduled Board of Education meeting will be held on December 19th, 2022. Will be our last one of 2022, I guess, at 7 p.m. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. Appreciate you hanging with us.